Hello, I'm Debbie Frank, and I'm here with the astrology for January 2025 for all signs. And it's so exciting to be starting this with Hay House for the beginning of the new year because 2025 is such an unprecedented year of change. I mean, it's so amazing that we need to kind of, get ourselves aligned with this whole concept that everything is changing in a very exciting way. We've got Pluto spending its first full year in the sign of Aquarius. For 248 years. That's unimaginable, isn't it? Then later in the year, we've got Neptune and Saturn starting to move into Aries, back and forth between Aries and Pisces. After that, we've got Uranus, 84 years on from the last time it was on in Gemini, setting foot in Gemini and going back between Taurus and Gemini. So much to talk about, but more of that as the year unfolds. But let's start with January, shall we? Well, we came into this new year on the tail end of a really rather beautiful new moon in Capricorn, not on New Year's Eve. It was actually on the 30th, but Capricorn's always well prepared, isn't it? So a day early, and that feeling of, we're going to have a fresh start. We're going to have a new beginning. So we all move into January. And the thing is, January, because Mars is retrograde, is a little bit of a case of back to the future. It's almost like we're kind of in a bit of a time warp. So I don't think that we should, any of us, no matter what sign, go rushing in to do everything on day one or even day 22. Because with Mars retrograde, this is all about being challenged to reclaim our power. And, we can't reclaim our power unless we're challenged to do so. There's going to be a few things cropping up here and there. We're obviously moving between Capricorn season, which lasts until the 19th of January. Then we're into Aquarius. So moving into a highly expressive phase. And also when these planets, the Sun and Mercury and the new moon later in the month, are going to conjoin with Pluto. So powerful, so potent. It's very much about fertility, not just, birth fertility, actual birth, but the fertility of what's in our minds, of what's possible for us. So really exciting. Chinese New Year, which is always kicked off with the first new moon in Aquarius, is on January the 29th. This year, it's the year of the snake. So don't be scared. Snakes, actually, in traditional Chinese wisdom are, about wisdom itself, to be honest, and transformation. If you think about shedding a skin, that's exactly what we all need to be doing. So I'm going to take you through each sign. And if you stay on to the end, I'm also going to be doing some affirmations for each sign. So it's worth hanging in there. And also you may want to listen to, other people that you're close to, whether that's friends, business partners, children, other kinds of personal partners. So please listen to them all. And here's to January, folks. So let's start off with the first sign, of course, Aries. So Aries, of course, is ruled by Mars. So Mars retrograde is a bit of a big deal. And it's all about what do you want? And on the 3rd of January, as Mars is opposed to Pluto, and then the Sun is opposed to Mars on the 16th, it could be a little bit crunchy. So my advice for all Aries is to try and stay as calm as possible. I mean, asserting yourself is not difficult if you're born under the sign of the Ram. I know a few myself, and that's not the issue. The issue is, what is the right thing to do in every single situation? So January the 6th, the heat comes off a little bit as Mars then moves back to Cancer. But for you Aries, for you Rams, you've got the Sun in Capricorn on your midheaven, and then you've got Mars opposing from the 4th house area. So this is all about doing the inner work. When Mars is going through your 4th house, it's very much about, who are you on the inside, not how you show up on the outside. So we've got this beautiful full moon on January the 13th. It's actually very dreamy. I love this full moon in Cancer. It's actually quite soft. It's a time to count your blessings, to kind of practice gratitude. And then, of course, we're moving into Aquarius season. That's on the 19th. And on the same day that Venus and Saturn conjoin. Now, Venus and Saturn are famous for kind of putting your feet on the ground, maybe your boots on the ground, but it's in the 12th house. So this is all about how strong you are on the inside, Aries. That's what really counts at this point. And as we move on into Aquarius season, the sun is, gathering all these people around you. This is all about finding your people, but it's also finding your power around certain people, especially on the 21st and that all important 29th date. Why is that important? Because it's Chinese New Year. That new moon is all about connecting and collaborating. It's really going to be very special. So hold on, Aries, for your affirmation at the end of all of the signs. Taurus now. Well, Mars is kind of reactivating some plans, some projects. Some of these might go a bit quiet, things that you thought would happen. It's kind of strange, like this junction point. And you're going to find yourself talking to people again from the past. And that's good. Things can come back to life from that point of view. On the 13th, with that Cancer full moon, well, it's all about heartfelt messages, putting yourself out there, and definitely a bit of emotional connection around that time, Taurus, which is obviously lovely. The Aquarius season beginning on the 19th, and definitely for the whole of the last 10 days of the month of January, is about, really putting your marker points out there into the world, kind of, showing up and being counted and thinking about, okay, what are my intentions? As of course, Mars continues to be retrograde. Things may take a little while, but have your intentions. This is all about manifesting, isn't it? Visualizing, intending. And then we come to Chinese New Year on the 29th. Beautiful new moon. This is a new beginning, teaming up with Jupiter, which is very generous. And this feeling that, you can be anything you really want to be. So Taurus, go get. We're coming on now to Gemini, the sign of the twins. So for you, Mars and this retrograde is all about the money angles of your chart. So definitely got the calculator out. This is all about your priorities. What do you want to spend things on? Where do you want to conserve, preserve? Although Jupiter remains in Gemini, and that's often about, splashing out. But we have to make sure we've got enough in order to splash out. So the Mars retrograde is just saying, okay, just check it out. January the 13th, the full moon here, decisions about money. And also because this is a beautiful trine to Neptune, this is all about things falling into place for you. You don't have to try too hard, going with the flow. Neptune just kind of opens things up, makes it easy for you. So we come into the 19th of this month, and that's the day that Venus and Saturn join forces for a smooch at the top of your chart. Well, it's actually at the top of your chart, highly visible. It's about commitment, Venus and Saturn, about your role in life. Are you going to do something or not? Can be about contracts. Saturn is about signing on the dotted line. So there's something here that, feels like you're taking on this responsibility. You're either opting in or opting out. And as the sun also moves into Aquarius, of course, that's your sister sign, your fellow air sign. It's going to be great for the rest of the month from the 19th, and especially on the Chinese New Year, that new moon on the 29th, because on the same day, Mercury, your ruling planet, the messenger of the gods, is teaming up with Pluto. And this is all about you following your passion. What could be better than that, nicer than that? And, the sun and moon are in a beautiful, harmonious alignment with Jupiter, generous Jupiter in Gemini. Feels pretty good. So hang on in there till the end of this message, this video, Gemini, for your affirmation. Now, Cancer, well, aren't you the lucky one? Because, let's just rewind a little bit, shall we, to September, October of 2024, when Mars was moving through your sign direct. So things were kind of steaming ahead. And normally that would be it, end of the story. But the thing is that Mars is turning retrograde. Well, it's turned retrograde on December the 6th, and it's come backwards from Leo and coming back to revisit you back in the building, Cancer, from January the 6th, all the way through to going direct on February the 23rd. And of course, then it'll pick up speed. It'll be with you for longer than that. More on that next month. So What's it all about, this Mars retrograde? Well, it's in Cancer. When it's in your sign, it's taking you back to the past. This is a walk down memory lane. This might be about your childhood patterns, but it's really about your Mars. And Mars is the planet of assertion. So it's worthwhile having a think here, Cancer. How do you assert yourself? Can you assert yourself? Or is your Mars blocked? Because, you know, without being able to step into our Mars, we can't make things happen very easily. We can't get what we want. So it's an excellent time for revisiting all of this. And, you know, we can change all of those patterns. That's the great thing. So the full moon, the one and only, all singing, all dancing, Cancer full moon, January the 13th. Fabulous. Definitely a time for waving your pincers around. Very high octane. Could be a bit of a full moon party going on at your place. And a couple of days after that, on the 16th, the Sun in Capricorn is opposing Mars in your sign. Maybe a little bit triggering. Of course, you're sort of feeling very emotional. It's okay, nothing terrible, but, you know, an excellent opportunity to say what you want, to state your needs. And so we move on to the 19th, the day when Venus and Saturn join in Pisces, your fellow water sign. And this is all about you saying that you want to create a solid plan for something that's going to happen further down the line in this year of 2025, whether that's for travel, whether you're signing up to a course, whether you're publishing, whether you're teaching, you're getting your message out there, whatever it is, you're saying, absolutely, yeah, I confirm this is it. I'm ticking the box. And then also, of course, on the same day is the start of Aquarius season. And the Sun and Mercury are going to join with Pluto. They're moving into your 8th house area, which is very deep. It's all about, you know, how you really, really feel on the inside and what kind of involvement you have with other people, whether that's personal or business. Who gets what, Cancer? That's an interesting one, isn't it? Because you are a giver by nature. Is this a time when you're reassessing whether you get your fair share, whether that's on an emotional level or a financial level? So you're looking at that. And this Chinese New Year, new moon on the 29th of January is your golden opportunity to rewrite the contract if you need to. Fantastic. And stay tuned for your own affirmation later. So let's step foot into our fire sign of Leo. And of course, starting off January, starting off the new year with Mars reversing through your sign, Leo, and actually having, you know, eyes across a crowded room with that passionate and intense planet Pluto on January the 3rd. All Leos need to mark that date in their diary. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Well, it's about overcoming challenge. There's this feeling with Pluto that it's about your desires. It's about, you know, is someone thwarting you in any way? Can you get what you want? And more importantly, how do you get what you want at this time? And from the 6th, Mars is going to just soften a bit as it moves backwards into Cancer, your next door neighbor sign, moves into the 12th house. Time really to take it easy, Leo. Is that possible for you? I know that you are such a go-getting sign. Time to reflect. And, you know, it's going to be in the late spring, Mars returns to you direct, and you will literally make up for any lost time. In fact, you won't lose any time at all, even if you think you're, you know, it's not happening at the speed you'd like it to this year. By the time we get to that re-emergence of Mars in Leo and into the early summer, you're kind of full on, full throttle. It's going to be amazing. So the best is yet to come. So let's just come back to the full moon of January on the 13th. Definitely, Leo, a time to go within, listen to the inner voice. And Aquarius season, well, that, of course, Aquarius is your opposite number. It's bringing these planets to the relationship angle of your chart. So the Sun and Pluto join here on the 21st. And just have a look around. Who's having a great big impact on you, Leo? I mean, normally you're the one that makes the impact. But when the Sun and Pluto are opposing you from your opposite sign, well, I mean, you'll notice that someone here, you know, they might be more of the strong silent type. It might be a bit of a behind the scenes maneuver, but, you know, there's someone here who has a bit of a powerful impact. And how does that feel? Do you feel that actually you need to step up to the plate to do a bit more? Are you happy to hand over the reins for a little bit? I mean, you know, nothing lasts forever. The 29th of January, when we get the new moon in Aquarius, Chinese New Year, someone's got something so important to say to you, Leo, and that's because on the same day, Mercury and Pluto are joining forces, and Mercury, the messenger planet, with Pluto, this very powerful message, and it's a new moon. It's a fresh start. It's a new beginning. Exciting. Stay tuned for your affirmation later. So Virgo. Well, Mars is going through Leo and Cancer. That means it's passing from your 12th house back to your 11th house. And this is really all about resolving your past. This is about your alliances, your cohorts, your people. Are they actually on your side? That's what you might be questioning, Virgo. You know, who's on board with you? Can you make allowances for a few discrepancies and for people to hold these differences of opinion? Or do you feel that, you know, these people aren't really your people? So it'll be a time of reflection there. And the full moon on January the 13th is about completion around certain people. Or you might be celebrating, you know, you've got something going, you're all going to do it together, you're in this together, or maybe you're walking away and saying, no, no more, I've had enough there. But with Venus and Saturn joining up in Pisces, which is of course your opposite number, this is relationships on the 19th of January. Well, this is really interesting. It's about the karma in your relationships. How do we know if we've got karma? Well, I think we can feel it. We can read it in the chart. But Saturn is the planet of karma, and it's about your attachments. So you're trying to work things out here, Virgo. Is there something that you need to resolve? I mean, what is this person trying to teach you? Why are they here in your life? And what are you doing with them, quite literally? I mean, is the soul contract, you know, coming to a close? Sometimes Venus and Saturn is about the timing mechanism. Oh, I've done enough. My work here is done. Or you're happy to sign on again, renew the contract. You know, there's this kind of thing going on. It's going to be fascinating. So, of course, Aquarius season also starts on the same day, on the 19th. And this is in your favorite position in the chart because it's your 6th house, which is the special Virgo place. It's all about fixing, sorting, solving, gaining function if you're working in a lab, doing it right, getting it done. So you're going to be in your element. I mean, okay, Aquarius is an air sign. It's funny that because water bearer, some people think they're water signs. They're actually an air sign. It's not your element, Virgo. You're Virgo, but you're going to be in your element in terms of the positioning in the houses. So let's have a look at January the 29th, that really rather super sweet spot of the new moon in the 6th, and Mercury, your ruling planet, all about communication, with Pluto. You're going to have a deep, deep desire at this point to resolve something, and, you know, very powerful communication being exchanged here between you and another person. So Virgo, hang on with me, please, until the end. I'm going to give you your affirmation, but let's move through to the second half of the zodiac, starting off, of course, with Libra. Lovely Libra. Well, it's time in January to get in touch with your Mars energy, because we think of Libra being a Venus-ruled sign, that it's all about, you know, being charming. That's how you solve most things, people pleasing. But okay, where does that leave you? How's it going for you, Libra? It's time to have a think about that. You might be wanting to do things with a group. And if you are in a group, how are you going to assert yourself? And we've got the full moon on January the 13th at the top of your chart. Never has there been a better time. You're under the moonbeams, directly lit from overhead for your sense of purpose, and find out, what are you really here to do? Aquarius season, time to get your act together, and also find your happy place, because Aquarius is very much about creativity, love, beauty, all of those things you adore. Finding your happy place, that's really how the month ends. Scorpio, well, Mars retrograde. Mars is actually your traditional ruler. When it's retrograde, we're talking here about resetting. And for you, resetting for the long term, where are you going? Quite literally, I mean, it might be about a trip, a travel, and it might be just about the bigger picture. So don't be in a hurry to finalize those plans. Just have a look at all your options. With this full moon on the 13th, well, we've got something beautiful streaming through into your future, because Neptune's involved, very life enhancing. January the 19th, that Venus, Saturn, well, Scorpio, you could be getting very serious about love. And why not? We've also got during Aquarius season this sense of, coming home to yourself, being with home and family, a new cycle in your personal life, a rebirth. What have you left behind in the past? It's time to reclaim your power. Stay on board with me for the Scorpio affirmation. Well, Sagittarius, what we're looking at for you with the Mars retrograde, you're going to have to put some things on the back burner. Oh, we know you don't like doing that because you like to kind of say yes to everything. But putting something on hold would be great for you. It's a brilliant time for getting rid of anything that's not going to work. So it's like having a reassessment, revisiting the history and resolving the finances. And especially on January the 13th, that full moon could be a catalyst for change. Things could be flagging up at that time. The Venus-Saturn, which is on the 19th of the month, is about putting work into home and family work because it's Saturn. Well, you might be laying foundations or clearing out your closet, or you might be having a very important time in your personal life or around the family. With Aquarius season bringing a lot of activity to the mind zone of your chart, it's really providing a lot of fertile ground for ideas, which is fabulous. Never more so than on that new moon of the 29th of January. And that is a total PowerPoint for new plans. So, Sagittarius, please stay on for your affirmation. And next up is Capricorn. Well, of course, you come into January, Capricorn, on the tail of your very own Capricorn new moon, which took place on the 30th of December. So you're feeling a bit lit from within as you move into this new year. But we've got Mars opposing you from Cancer from the 6th of January. And that's, of course, in your relationship zone. So are you going backwards or forwards in a relationship? Might be doing a bit of both. You might also be going back to someone, revisiting the past in some way, or something coming up from the past here. The full moon in Cancer on the 13th, because it's, very harmoniously aligned with Neptune, maybe, this is about forgiving, letting go, or perhaps it's very romantic and you're feeling the magic. Definitely Neptune will be involved here. And with Aquarius season, once the sun leaves you and moves on to your next door neighbor's sign, there's a lot of energy around how you earn your living, your talents, and it's time to really believe in yourself, especially on the 29th of January, when we've got that new moon with Chinese New Year, a total fresh start. So Aquarius, wow. January the 3rd, it is the wow factor because Mars will be retrograde in Leo and Pluto will be with you. And that's going to be a big release or some kind of transition. So it's really early in the month of January. So have a look at what's unfolding around that time. From the 6th of January, you're focusing more on who you trust, whether that's emotionally or financially. Sometimes those two things go together as Mars goes back through the joint venture angle of your chart. Aquarius season gives you a huge glow up, of course, when the sun is in your sign. And this year, well, on the 21st, the sun and Pluto will be together with you. They did that also when the sun moved into Aquarius in 2024. But this year, yes, it just feels really quite intense. And on the 29th, of course, is your new moon. It's the Aquarius new moon, the start of Chinese New Year. It's a new beginning. You've got Mercury and Pluto joining together on the same day, totally a time to align with your true self, to let go of the past once and for all. So Pisces, last but not least. Well, this first week of January is really purging out what bothers you, to be honest. And I think you're going to be glad to do that. It's just for 1 week. It's like, not having that, not carrying that into the new year. And then we've got Mars moving into Cancer and you reconnecting with everything that generates joy in your life. Hey, what's not to like with that picture? Very nice. Happiness, creative activities from the past. And I've got in brackets here, old lovers. Maybe, maybe not. Venus and Saturn joining forces on January the 19th. I have to say, this is one of the most important days of the year for you, Pisces, to understand your own attachment patterns. And again, it's about karma. Can you really commit to someone or can you really commit yourself? It's about self-love too. Commit to yourself. And the Aquarian energy that's downloading from the 19th sends the energy into the Pisces special place in your solar chart, the mystical 12th house. You need to take time out to process everything that's coming up. It's a very powerful time, a lot of powerful feelings surfacing, and the new moon on the 29th activates your dreams and your dream world. See what the message is there for you. Well, thank you, everyone. Hasn't that been lovely? Shall I give you your affirmations? Well, Aries, I think you need to say to yourself, I find my own power and sovereignty. For Taurus in January, I connect with the right people for me. And for Gemini, feet on the ground, eye on the main chance. It was ever thus, but especially for January. Cancer, I take a step back from drama. Leo, what is a relationship here to teach me? Virgo, I fix those things that are in my control and I surrender those things that are not. And Libra, I align with my life purpose and follow my joy. Scorpio, I rise like phoenix from the ashes. Sagittarius, I put things in proportion. Capricorn, I can be open to others as well as maintaining my boundaries. Aquarius, I'm ready to relaunch myself. Pisces, I understand I have the power to change my patterns. So there we have it for January. Thank you so much for being here with me. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. And happy January, everyone.